Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Are you ready to dive into a world of, well, like luxury and murder?
Always.
All right. So picture this, a lavish cruise ship, the SS Lincoln,
Mm.
bound for Egypt, no less.
Oh, wow.
It's packed with like the who's who of post-Civil War America. Opulent ballrooms, champagne flowing, and of course, secrets.
Sounds
What
intriguing.
gets better? Because a murder rocks the boat, literally.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and that's where our story, Miss Verity Takes the Case by C.M. Turner, really kicks off.
Oh, I love a good historical mystery.
Me too. And this one's a real page-turner. It's not just a whodunit, though, right? I mean, it really gets you thinking about, like, how the past kind of sticks with you.
You're so right. The book delves into those echoes of the Civil War, all those resentments and scars. They all play a part in this whole web of, deception and the search for justice.
Exactly, and that's what makes it more than just a mystery, right? It
Absolutely.
gives you a peek into this society struggling with change and ambition, haunted by the ghosts of its past.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Okay, so for our listeners, let's set the scene. We're on this massive steamship. Think of it as like a tiny version of America after the Civil War.
I like that. A microcosm.
Right. We've got these super wealthy industrialists hanging out with, well, basically social climbers. Then you've got ex-soldiers dealing with, I don't know, like the trauma of war.
Right.
And to make things even more interesting, we have this mysterious antiques dealer. His past is like, well, a complete enigma.
Talk about a mix of characters. It's almost like a recipe for disaster, isn't it? That contrast, all that extravagance against the backdrop of, well, the simmering tension and secrets. It's like something's about to break.
And it does. When they find journalist Jeremy Russell dead at the bottom of a cliff on this island, Fayal, I think.
Right, fail. It seems like an accident at first.
Totally. But then Miss Verity Dean enters the picture.
Our leading lady.
Exactly. She's a former Pinkerton detective, so her instincts are like razor sharp. She's just not buying the accident theory.
Yeah.
And as I was reading, I kept thinking about her position, stuck on this ship with all these potential suspects.
Oh, yeah, she can't exactly just walk away.
No. But she's so determined to uncover the truth. What did you think about Verity? Did you, like, connect with her character at all?
Oh, absolutely. Especially for that time period, she's really a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she's not afraid to go against the grain, using her intelligence and skills in this male-dominated world.
Totally.
And it's not just that. She's also wrestling with her own past, trying to find her place in a world that's changing so rapidly.
She's got her own case going on in the background.
Exactly. And speaking of cases, as she starts looking into Jeremy's death, she finds all these clues that suggest something way more sinister is going on.
Oh, those clues. They had me hooked. First, there's Slats, the coal stoker. He sees two men on the cliff the morning Jeremy dies, but then, boom, he turns up dead too.
Suspicious, for sure.
Right. Then Maya, a maid working for this fascinating Madame Zelenka, is found murdered after the ship leaves Gibraltar. And if that wasn't enough, a very valuable necklace goes missing. It belonged to Molly McCallum, the wife of, well, let's just say a powerful guy.
Cyrus McCallum.
You got it. I mean, talk about a tangled web. What struck you as like the biggest clue early on? For me, it was Jeremy's job. I mean, he was a journalist and he was digging into some shady stuff.
It's hard to choose just one, but the fact that he was a journalist definitely makes you think, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what was he working on that made him a target? Who wanted him silenced? It just screamed foul play.
Totally. And then throwing in the missing necklace, it felt like a deliberate attempt to, like, distract everyone from the real motive.
A classic red herring.
So true.
Yeah.
And speaking of motives, let's talk about the suspects.
Hmm.
This book throws a whole bunch at us, each with their own secrets and reasons for wanting Jeremy gone. Honestly, it felt like everyone on that ship had something to hide. Who did you suspect?
Honestly, it felt like everyone was suspicious at some point.
Right? There's Cyrus McCallum, like I said, a powerful industrialist, but he's got political ambitions too. Could Jeremy's reporting have been a threat to him?
It's definitely possible. Power and ambition can make people do some pretty crazy things.
So true. And then there's Cyrus's son, Edgar. He's like haunted by his time in the war and clearly doesn't get along with his dad. What do you think? Was he hiding something?
I kept going back and forth on Edgar.
Me too. And then there's John Bullingsworth. He's ambitious, wants to take over Cyrus's empire. Would he resort to murder to get what he wants?
That's the question, isn't it? And don't forget Ward Penderhaven, the antiques dealer.
Oh, yeah. He's always around when something's going down. Is he just a savvy businessman, or is there something darker beneath that charming facade?
He was definitely giving me some shady vibes.
And let's not forget, Harding Claremont, another journalist,
Ah, yes, the rival.
could jealousy have driven him to eliminate the competition?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Right. I swear I was suspecting everyone at some point. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. C.M. Turner is a master at making you doubt everyone. Just when you think you've got it figured out, some new information pops up and points the finger at someone else. It's brilliant.
So true. And then you throw in Jeremy's coded notepad in his diary filled with these cryptic entries. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
A very intriguing puzzle.
And we have Verity trying to make sense of it all, navigating this, like, treacherous social scene while piecing together those missing puzzle pieces. It's not just about finding the killer. It's about uncovering all these secrets that run deeper than anyone could imagine.
Exactly. It's a story that keeps you guessing until the very end. One thing that really struck me about Miss Verity Takes the Case is like how the author brings the historical setting to life.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a backdrop. It's woven into the whole story. You
Right.
know, the post-Civil War era was such a time of change, upheaval. And the novel really explores those complexities.
Yeah, for sure. It really did feel like I was transported back in time, like sailing alongside these characters
Right.
and seeing that world on the brink of transformation.
Exactly.
You see the rise of those industrialists like Cyrus McCallum, social climbers trying to, grab a piece of the new wealth.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have those former soldiers still carrying the weight of the war.
It's a society trying to rebuild, but those ruins from the past are still there.
Totally, like simmering beneath the surface.
And it's not just the men who are navigating this new world.
Oh, absolutely.
The novel also gives us a glimpse into the lives of women during this era.
Yes. That was something I found so fascinating.
Me too.
We have Verity, of course, breaking barriers as a detective.
Right.
But there's also Gertrude Haskins Brown, the photographer and archaeologist.
Oh, yeah. She's great. Not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Not at all. What did you think about those female characters? Did they feel relatable to you, even though they lived in such a different time?
They definitely did. They're strong, independent women, pushing boundaries, defying expectations. They show us that even back then, women could be powerful forces in their own right.
So true. And then you have Molly McCallum, Cyrus's wife.
Right.
On the surface, she might seem like a typical society wife.
All elegance and social graces.
Exactly. But as the story unfolds, you realize she's much more than that.
Oh, yeah.
She's ambitious, she's shrewd, she knows how to use her influence.
She surprised me.
Me too.
Uh-huh.
She reminded me that power can take many forms.
Right.
And that sometimes the quietest voices can have the biggest impact.
Absolutely.
But it's not just the upper class that gets our attention in this book.
No, definitely not.
The novel also shows us the lives of those working below deck.
Like Slats and Maya.
Exactly. It's like the author gives a voice to characters from all walks of life.
That's what I appreciate about Turner's writing.
Yeah.
She doesn't just focus on the wealthy and powerful.
Right.
We see how the events on the ship impact everyone.
It's a reminder that history is made up of all these different individual stories.
Each one adding to the bigger picture.
So true. Thinking about those individual stories, were there any events that stood out to you as, like, really driving the plot forward?
Oh, there were so many. That seance scene with Madame Zelenka.
Oh, yeah. That was amazing.
It was like stepping into another world.
Totally.
All those spirits and mystery. And even though it's presented as a performance,
Right.
her pronouncements seem to tap into the character's anxieties and secrets.
It's like she's holding up a mirror to them.
Exactly. Did you find that scene as intriguing as I did?
Oh, totally.
Oh.
I was on the edge of my seat during that seance.
Right.
It added this element of, like, the supernatural,
Yes.
the unknown.
The suspense.
It just heightened everything.
And the way it revealed those hidden truths about the characters, their fears, their desires.
So good.
Brilliant writing.
And then there's that storm that hits the ship.
Oh, that storm.
Talk about a turning point.
More than just bad weather, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like this physical manifestation of all that turmoil brewing beneath the surface. It forces the characters to confront their true selves.
Like they can't hide anymore.
Exactly. A reminder that nature, like fate, can be unpredictable and unforgiving.
I love how you put that. The storm as a mirror to their inner turmoil.
Yeah.
It's a classic literary device, but it's so effective here.
Absolutely.
And speaking of confrontations, that 4th of July celebration was like a powder keg waiting to explode.
Oh, I know. It was supposed to be this festive occasion, but you
Right.
could just feel the tension building.
It was palpable.
And then those explosive confrontations.
What did you think about that scene?
It felt like the whole story was building up to that moment.
Yeah.
All those secrets, suspicions, resentments, it all came to a head during that celebration.
Like a pressure cooker finally releasing.
Exactly. And it's in that chaos that Verity starts to see the connections.
Right.
To unravel the truth behind Jeremy's murder.
It's a thrilling moment for the reader.
Oh, yeah.
That realization that everything is about to change.
Did you feel that sense of anticipation building as you were reading?
Oh, absolutely. Like something big was about to happen.
And it's not just about unmasking the killer, right?
No.
It's about understanding the motivations, the web of deceit,
Right.
the consequences of this one man's death.
It's not a simple case of good versus evil.
No.
It's a story about those gray areas of morality, the choices we make, the consequences we face.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a story that explores the depths of human nature, the complexities of justice.
Absolutely.
And for our listeners, we're curious.
Yeah.
As the pieces of the puzzle started falling into place, did you find yourself questioning your own assumptions about the characters?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did you have any of those aha moments where everything suddenly clicked?
Those are the best moments in a mystery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Miss Verity Takes the Case is full of them.
It is.
But beyond just solving the puzzle,
Right.
I think this book makes you think about bigger questions.
Yeah.
Like, what does justice really mean? Can we ever truly escape the shadows of the past?
That's a tough one.
It is.
And what price are we willing to pay for the truth?
Those are some heavy questions to ponder.
They are. You know, one thing that makes this story even richer is like all those real historical events and figures that are woven in.
Oh, for sure.
It's like the author is giving us these little glimpses into the actual drama unfolding alongside our mystery.
Right. It's those details that make the story feel so grounded in its time.
Exactly. Like that mention of the Credit Mobilier scandal.
Oh, yeah. That was a big
A
one.
real-life financial scandal.
Huge. It rocked the Grant administration.
Accusations of corruption, bribery, the whole 9 yards.
And in the book, Jeremy Russell, our journalist,
Right.
he was actually investigating Cyrus McCallum's possible involvement in it.
Oh, wow.
It's like those real-world events are casting a shadow over everything.
Adding another layer of intrigue.
Totally. And remember, General Sibley, in the book, he's this imposing figure from the past, haunted by what he did during the war.
All right.
Well, there was a real Confederate general named Henry Hopkins Sibley.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he was known for some pretty controversial actions.
I see.
And the way the author connects the fictional General Sibley to Andersonville Prison,
Oh, wow.
which was a real Confederate prison, notorious for its horrific conditions.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It just adds this whole other level of moral complexity to the story.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. Like, how much of historical fiction is actually inspired by real events?
Right.
It's like blurring the lines between fact and fiction.
In a really fascinating way.
And speaking of blurring lines, what did you think about Ward Penderhaven's story? The way he made his fortune,
Oh, yeah.
his collection of antiques.
Mm.
It's not exactly a feel-good story, is it?
Not really.
It kind of shows the dark underbelly of war,
Yeah.
all the opportunism and greed that can thrive in those chaotic times.
Penderhaven, he's a character who benefits from other people's suffering. It makes you think about the choices people make in times of crisis.
And what those choices ultimately cost them.
Exactly.
It's like the book forces us to confront these tough questions.
Does.
And the setting, that transatlantic steamship, it's almost like a character itself, isn't it?
Oh, totally. That confined space, it's like a mini version of society.
Right. All those secrets, alliances, and the past constantly lurking.
It's a vessel carrying these passengers towards a new world.
But they can't escape their past,
Their secrets.
their true selves,
And that constant motion of the ship.
the rocking waves,
It's like a reflection of the uncertainty.
and how everything keeps shifting.
Yeah.
It's brilliant how the author does that.
So well done.
And within that confined space,
You have all these intricate relationships.
family ties strained by ambition,
Friendships tested by betrayal.
romantic entanglements messed up by hidden agendas,
It's a tangled web of human connections,
each thread pulling on the others.
creating this constant tension.
What relationships did you find most compelling or surprising?
I found the father-son dynamic between Cyrus and Edgar McCallum really fascinating.
Oh,
All
yeah.
that resentment,
The weight of legacy,
you could just feel the unspoken history between them.
those unhealed wounds.
And then Verity and her aunt, Caroline.
Right.
It's a subtler relationship.
But it says so much about how society viewed women back then.
All those expectations.
The struggle between duty and personal fulfillment.
It's a lot to unpack.
And while all of that is going on,
Verity's trying to piece together the truth.
it's not just about finding the killer,
It's about understanding the why,
the motivations.
the secrets, the
Were
lies.
you able to figure out who the killer was? Did the ending surprise you?
I have to admit, I didn't see it coming. It was a genuine surprise.
That's the beauty of a good mystery, right?
Absolutely.
Keeps you guessing until the very end.
But Miss Verity Takes the Case offers something more than just the thrill of a reveal. It makes you think about the power of the past,
The complexities of justice.
how our choices shape our lives,
It's a story that stays with you.
long after you finish the book.
So well said. And for our listeners, what resonated with you the most about Miss Verity Takes the Case? Were there any moments that surprised you, challenged you, or maybe even kept you up late reading? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow bookworms.
We love hearing your thoughts and exploring these fascinating worlds together.
Until next time.
Keep those minds curious, imaginations ignited, and keep exploring the stories that connect us all.